The 10 strangest ways people have died. Number 1. Death from gifts. Draco, one of the most popular politicians in ancient times, died when his fans continuously showered him with thousands of gifts, like cloaks, shirts, and flowers. After a powerful speech, there were so many its landing on the stage that he eventually got smothered and dying. Number 2. Death from the bladder. People usually joke around that they have to pee so badly or they are going to explode. Tycho Brahe, famous astronomer, this wasn't a joke at all, and he actually did end up dying because he didn't pee. In the 17th century, he was considered to be very rude to leave the table during dinner, especially when attending it with someone important like the royal family. When he was attending a dinner party with the royal family, he started having issues, but knew he couldn't leave, and held it. Instead, a couple days later, he ended up dying because of the strain he put on the bladder. Number 3. Death from dessert. You have people who love dessert, and then there are people who really loved dessert to death. The King of Sweden, Adolf Fredrik, had a serious sweet tooth and could never say no to dessert even if was already really full. When he was attending this Swedish Fat Tuesday, he indulged in a huge feast which included caviar, alcohol, and endless amount of some lord. He then suffered from indigestion and died. Number 4. Death from beer. Even though beer is supposed to be awesome, this wasn't the case for some people hundreds of years ago. For many people, this might sound awesome, but it wasn't really that funny. When a 3-story beer vat exploded in the streets during the 18th century in London, the massive beer wave swept through, destroying homes, and 8 people died. Number 5. Death from sportsmanship. We are always told to be careful where we swing something, alone, something that can cause so much pain, like a bat. In the 86 seconds, baseball player Jim was joking around and ended up swinging his bat really hard that his bladder and it ended up rupturing, causing him to die. Number 6. Death from wearing a scarf. So we've already covered the fact that you can die from thousands of cloaks on top of you, but who knew you could die from scarves as well? Isadora was the most popular modern dancer in the 1920s. And she loved wearing long scarves. One night she wore a scarf when she was driving, but it got caught in the car's wheel and broke her neck. Number 7. Death from drinking carrot juice. In 1974, Basil Brown thought he could improve the condition of his health by drinking 10 gallons of carriages for 10 days. He was very worried about his health, and thought it would be the best way he could improve it. This amount ended up being thousands times more than the normal amount for human beings. His liver ended up selling a couple of days after he started his diet, and he died from vitamin poisoning. Number 8. Death from boobs. In 2013, Donna Lang killed her boyfriend by smothering him with her breasts to death. Even though she claims she doesn't understand how it happened, reports later showed that he suffocated from how heavy and big her breasts were. Number 9. Death from a Disneyland ride. It's difficult to imagine that someone wows die in such a happy place. Not really, because it actually did happen to people throughout the years. It has happened to Disneyland multiple times, whether it's from people being crushed by bloats or while being on operational rides. Number 10. Death from a hamster. The reason why anyone would buy a hamster is because they're looking for a peaceful pet that wouldn't cause that many issues. A man in Japan ended up dying after his hamster bit him. Based on sources, it turned out he was allergic to the saliva of the hamster and died from anaphylactic